This 1 Degree Outside video is sponsored by the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest fair. You can pre-order your admission, meal, and ride tickets today at topsfieldfair.org and join the fun October 4th through 14th, conveniently located on Route 1, just off of Interstate 95.
I'm at Noyes Coastal Marine Forecast. We'll keep this going at least deep into October because I know a lot of us keep the boat in the water all the way into, if not through October, right? But we're getting to that time of year where we get more and more gales, so you got to be thankful for when you get the decent weather, and this is one of those weekends we'll be thankful for. Look, right now water temperatures are running in the mid-60s. They've actually come up a little bit along the southern Maine coastline over the last week, and this is the second week in a row that they've done that. So you've got at least water temps in the mid-60s that are willing to move northward a little bit here when you get along the Maine coastline. Now, what I'm going to plot for you here in the first go-round is going to be areas of fog and low clouds. So you see most of that is offshore, and it's kind of limited, but there are some banks that will be around as we get through the day on Saturday. What's happening here is you're developing an onshore wind. Most of you aren't going to see that if you're near-shore boaters. But as we head into the overnight Saturday night with the wind blowing onshore, some of that may drift in, just so you know. I wouldn't be shocked to find at least a couple of pockets of fog here and there that would burn off on Sunday and not be a problem. You can see Sunday looks very good. The wind fairly light for us as high pressure builds into the Gulf of Maine. Heading into the early part of next week, at first we're under the influence of that high pressure, and then we start to get a little bit of a squeeze. There's the remnant of what was Hurricane Helene, and that's going to eventually kind of bleed off some energy and lead to a new developing low pressure down to our south. Having that pressure gradient, that barometric pressure difference, does allow for the wind you can see here to crank up. That's sustained wind, not gusts, as we get into Tuesday. So when you get in the waters of southern New England, it picks up on Tuesday. That'll have an impact on the waves. So let's go ahead and dive into waves and show you the big picture, and then we'll get kind of region by region for you. Notice on Saturday, it's generally 1 to 3 foot sea, but the 3-footers are pretty far out when you get out toward Wilkinson Basin. If you're going to be close to shore, you're doing fine. Whale watches are doing good. Fishing charters are doing fine. Sunday, there's enough of a bump that if you're not familiar with the water, you may want some sort of Dramamine or something like that if you're going to be going out there. I mean, it's not a dangerous bump by any stretch at 2 feet, but it's going to be a little bit of rock and a little bit of motion for you if you're going to be out on the boat and you're not used to doing that. And then by the time we get to Tuesday, remember I was talking about the waves the wind starting to crank a little bit. You can see what that does. 3 to 4 to 7 foot seas when you get in the water south of New England. And a lot of eastern mass is still up to 3 to 5 feet by Tuesday as the wind cranks up. But let's focus on the weekend. We'll start out when you get to the south coast. Waters are still nice and warm, at least 65 to 70. Some spots are a little bit better than that. This is your 2 to 4 foot seas. It shows up in the lighter blue. So most of us are just 1 to 2 feet close to shore. That's the case on Saturday. Sunday's pretty similar. The 2 to 4 footers try to build northward just a little bit for us. Eastern waters are going to be pretty similar. You've got generally a 1 to 2 foot sea near shore, 2 to 4 offshore when you get into Saturday. By Sunday, that 2 to 4 area actually peels off even a little bit more. And then when you come along the coastline of Maine, we're pretty quiet too. The 2 to 4 footers are pretty far out there. You got to make your way all the way out by Bigelow, Bight, or farther out to the south and east from that out toward the buoy. And then once we get into Sunday, I think we're talking about a really light wind, so it'll be actually very enjoyable conditions along the coast of Maine. Just don't forget, you can take our app and you can actually set a location for any city that's along the coastline near your favorite offshore spot. Near shore spot anyway, and then take the pinpoint, the 3 dots next to the location. Once you save it, there's an option to pinpoint. Do that. You can move it around, pinch and zoom, put the pin exactly where you want to be offshore. You'll actually get our forecast for the offshore spot, which is kind of neat. So again, you can grab Noyes' 1 Degree Outside weather app off the App Store or Google Play. Be safe out there on the water as always. Enjoy the fairly nice weather. We'll see you with more updates at 1degreeoutside.com.